I'm sharing a segment from David Icke's lecture, Agenda 21, The Plan to Kill You, with reference to the growing police state and atrocities of police brutality against its own citizens, with what seems to be just let to roam, and without any consideration, they seem to be given absolute power to brutalize people in the name of law. However, completely against the civil rights of the citizens of the state. So why is this? It's been growing in my mind why it is these cops seem to be getting a slap on the wrist, and why, most importantly, systemically, they're being hired and trained and to brutalize the community. As I've learned more and more about Agenda 21 and the plan to create chaos and to create a police state, this becomes more clear. So I just want to share this segment, and I will incorporate the actual full lecture YouTube video in the notes below. Thank you.
Turn out to be true. Albert Pike, letter to Giuseppe Mazzini in 1871. He talked about 3 world wars coming, so that and each one would go towards eventually taking over the world. And he talks about the First World War and the Second World War, and how the Second World War would create a homeland for what he called political Zionism. And then he said this about the Third World War. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati, the network, the bloodlines, between the political Zionists, Israel in other words, and leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, because they knew that was coming even then, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, note that, mutually destroy each other. Are you listening, people of Israel? Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, and spiritual and economical exhaustion. And then he was pointing out that then they would move in and say, we can save everything, but you have to do what we say, and they have to do it the way we say it. And if it becomes a nuclear war, then changing the atmosphere is another bonus. Very quickly, physical control too. This is the police state. This is the world of Agenda 21 that they want to bring in, if we plead and allow it, and we shouldn't. I mean, in terms of numbers, I mean, crikey, it's a no contest. Divide and rule stops us doing it. And we've reached at this point in physical control where he has a kill list, which the people are then killed without trial or a judicial process or anything. He can, murder people in effect without recourse. You may have seen, and I've seen it all over the world, how the nature of police has changed. I call it recruiting the crazies. What they've been doing for decades now is recruiting law enforcement all around the world, Britain as well, not on the basis of whether they can do the job for the benefit of the community, as they used to do, many of them do, and many of them still try to do it within a system that's a nightmare for them trying. You know, so many decent policemen are leaving, police officers are leaving, because they can't stand the system that's coming in, because the crazies are taking it over. And what they've been doing is recruiting on the basis of personality type rather than ability to do the job. And the personality types they want are narcissists, a psychological condition characterized by preoccupation, lack of empathy, and unconditional deficits in self-esteem, and psychopaths, a person with an antisocial personality disorder manifested in aggressive, perverted, criminal, or immoral behavior, and this is the common theme, without empathy or remorse. And that's why you're seeing the change in personality so dramatically in law enforcement around the world. And we get in a situation, this guy, Brandon Raub, all he did was write on his, I think it was his Twitter or one of these social networks, Facebook or whatever, about, you know, certain things about the New World Order and 9/11 he didn't like, gets picked up and taken away to a psychiatric hospital. And he would probably still be there if there wasn't this massive public outcry and help from a civil rights organisation that sorted him out. Here you go, committing war crimes, happily retired, committing war crimes, wins Peace Prize, exposing war crimes, considered terrorist. And we're seeing all this stuff coming in, and all the bloody drones in the sky and all this stuff around in space and hijacking the internet and the microchipping agenda that's coming in, stepping stone style with the electronic tattoo, as they call it, and stuff, and you know, using barcodes for babies instead of names. And I love this one. You take a bloody tablet and it's got a microchip in it. Stage 1, patient takes pill and has been modified to contain edible microchip. 2, after pill is swallowed, chip is activated by stomach fluids, sending signal on patch to arm. 4, receiver transmits information to mobile, telling patient when next dose is due and provides other health data.